Bob, talk about Doug Wilson.
Yeah, it's a day of sort of bittersweet. I think that I just heard the news myself at 9:30 and had no idea this was going on today. So I guess it's a little bit of I think a little stunning news. I guess Doug means a lot to me personally. I know he's what he's done with this organization and his legacy. Is tough to compare. I think that a lot of people in that dressing room, including myself, have a lot to be thankful to Doug for. And it's I guess a changing of the guard, and we're trying to get our head around that still. But I think today, if anything, after this announcement, that for me anyway, personally, I think of this as sort of celebrating Doug's legacy and what he's done here as a player, as part of management, as a general manager, the success that he's brought to this organization, and really he's I think if there's one name you could think that's built this franchise from the bottom up, it's Doug. And he's had great support from ownership over the years, and so it's a bit of a shock and a stunner. And the good thing is that what I'd like to say to him personally is just to wish him all the best and thank him for everything that he's done for me, and hopefully his road to recovery is a healthy one and a happy one, really.
Can you speak a little bit to his personal impact on you?
Yeah, Doug's a guy that, through Pete reached out to me while I was still back in junior. And even though Pete and I had a relationship, we knew each other growing up, Doug was a big part of that decision. And he was the first guy I talked to, to sort of ask me where I was at to come here with Pete. And, I just felt that there was an instant connection with Doug and I. I think that we see things a lot similar. I think that, and it's that personal touch with the player. It's the connection you make with the player, and I think that's what Doug was great at, is making the connection with the player. And at the end of it, I remember when I had the opportunity to go to Florida, and Doug promised me if there's ever a head job out there that he'd be 100% behind me, regardless if he thought losing me was going to be a negative thing for Pete and his staff. And he did. He was true to his word, and he's a big part of me getting hired in Florida. And then the minute I got let go in Florida, he was one of the first people I talked to about possibly coming back here the following season. And so there's a loyalty there, and there's working for Doug was a very easy thing because he had a direction, and he was such a master for me of sticking to what he believed in, and making sure everybody around him had no excuses and everything at their disposal, every tool they needed to be successful, and he supported people in the right ways, and that's not just not at our level, at the staff level, but even the players. So that's sort of what Doug means to me.
Bob, how often you had a chance to maybe stay in touch with Doug over these last few months?
Not very often. I think that he stepped away for a reason. I think we tried to just let him be, let him deal with what he needed to deal with, and concentrate on that, and not trying to cloud anything with hockey. I think that he needed to at that point in time to take a step back, and we all respected that. So I've recently reached out by text here within the last couple of weeks, but obviously after today's announcement, I'll reach back out.
What was the reaction in the room?
I think it was quiet. I think that everybody just listened and was sort of trying to absorb it. And I haven't been around the players since the announcement. We're getting some work done for tonight's game. So, but I think it's probably the same. I think the veterans that have come out here probably echo a lot of the same. Cooch has been here for a long time, and Tommy's just committed for the next 8 years, and Carly committed to this organization. And I think the one message we heard this morning was that the direction hasn't changed. We want to get back into playoffs. We want to be a winning team. We believe in the core, and Hasso believes in the core here. They all know that there needs to be tweaks and there needs to be improvements. There's a belief that we're going to get back to where we need to get to. But we're in a phase right now, and I don't think anybody's shocked at where we're at. I don't think anybody's surprised. I think the organization's been very transparent of what was going to happen here in the last couple of years, and I really truly believe coming back out of this, this search and whoever comes in is going to have an impact as well. And I think that that's not going to change the view of what we need to do coming up in the draft and unrestricted free agency and what needs to be done over the summer. I think it's just how to improve this team to get it back to where we need to get to, regardless of who's coming in.
I have to ask, obviously, whoever's named the GM is going to probably maybe look around and see if we want to bring in their own guy. I'm just curious. I know you're just still digesting this, obviously, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to speculate on that. I think that, my concentration right now is just the next 14 games and trying to have forward direction and try and get this team playing well and let all the young guys have opportunities. So that's not going to change for me. It's just keeping the standard and trying to set that foundation moving forward. For me personally or my staff, I think that that remains to be seen. I mean, we know what happens when there's a change in GM, and we believe in what we've done here. We believe in the foundation we're laying, and the system works, and we've made tweaks along the way. And I think the players are very comfortable with us and what we're trying to do. It's just a matter of, I look back myself personally, and it was weird. When I took over from Pete, it was halfway through, and the team was already struggling at that point. And then I came back, and it was a canceled season kind of that first year. Came back in a 56-game schedule last year, and we all know that story. This is really, I feel, my first full year where I've got to be able to work with these guys on an 82-game schedule and training camp and all those things. So I'm looking forward to doing that the same. I know we can get better. I'm hoping I'm part of it, but can't speculate on what's going to happen, right? I think that'll be a business decision, and it's completely out of my hands.
I'm not sure if you can say, but when Doug announced that he was going on medical leave in November, were you always under the impression that he was going to come back, or were you not sure? Or I guess today's news a bit of a surprise, or?
I think a bit of a surprise. I thought at some point that he'd be coming back. I think that's just me personally. I don't have any inside scoop on that. I just, but everybody's got their own way of dealing with things, and if he thinks that's the best decision, the most important thing for Doug right now is his health and his happiness and his family, and I support that, and that's certainly got to be number one on his list.
So maybe do one more if you haven't. We got Brent here as well.
It takes a back seat to the news today, but just today's lineup, who's starting in goal, any lineup changes?
We're going to go back with Reimer, and I plan to play Capo here in the next couple games, but I thought Reimer's played well, and he's had a pretty good history of Calgary, this year. Gadjevich and Leonard are both injured and out, and they'll be replaced by Viel and Deli.
And
Defense, we're going to go Milosh back in, Merkley out. Again, rotation. I just don't want it to be rotation of just those two guys. There will be more guys involved in that rotation. No other reason than just keeping guys fresh. I expect Merkley to be back in next game in Vancouver. And that's really the only changes tonight. And moving forward, it's an important game before we get on the road. There's some tough games coming up and teams that are desperate in the position that they're in. So, hopefully we've played 2 real good periods against Dallas. We played 3 really good periods against Edmonton. Hopefully that transfers into tonight's game.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, Brent.